Now, of course, there are other mythic themes in Frankenstein, and I do want to discuss them, even though we will not be dwelling on them at length. I do still think that they are worth mentioning. Now, of course, the big mythic theme that is germane to our discussion in this class is that of the male mother. And again, that is the reason why I had you discuss and talked about creation myths. Another type of myths where it was the male who actually gave birth. Now, of course, this birth is often metaphorical. It does not mean a physical birth. And within myth, we are often dealing with metaphor. There's historical allegory in myth, but you cannot look upon myths as being historically correct or recording history as it happened. But there are plenty of metaphorical truths and even history within myths. So back to the male mother. Victor is obviously a male mother. He creates the creature. And while this is a theme, there is also a theme that goes along with that, which is also very important in understanding the monster in Frankenstein. And that is, do not upset the balance of nature. Now, in the creation myths, you had the first being arise from the abyss, and that being put order in the universe and subdued chaos, especially in the Greek myths. So when you upset the balance of nature, you allow chaos to come in. Now, chaos is actually acceptable or even desirable, because it is chaos that sets us forward into the next period of whatever it is on a personal, a societal, or mythic level. But chaos is also very bad. And so when you upset the order and the balance of nature, you allow that chaos to enter. And this is what Victor does, as we will see when I begin to discuss the aspects of the novel in particular and details. And so those are the two big mythic themes in Frankenstein that pertain to this class and monsters, or the creation of the monster, because the monster is born of that imbalance and of the chaos that ensues. But there are other themes in Frankenstein. One is of fate or predestination. Even into modern times, people believe that we are predestined and that we have a fate, an inexorable fate that we move toward and that we cannot escape. Victor Frankenstein believes this. He says it many times throughout the novel. This was my fate. I could not avoid it. And you see this particularly again in classical Greek myth, where Oedipus is fated to marry his mother and kill his father. And no matter how much they tried to circumvent that, it still happened. Priam sends Paris away from Troy because it is foretold that he will bring the downfall of the city. But it is the actual action that both of these sets of parents make that try to avoid the fate that brings it about. And that is present in Frankenstein. Another mythic element that is present in Frankenstein is that of gosh dang it, I've got to look at my notes. I'm sorry. The thirst for knowledge. The thirst for knowledge is not always a good thing. It is hubris, and that was really what it is that I am looking for. It is hubristic of humans to try to be gods. And in classical Greek myth, people are constantly cut down for that. Bellerophon is thrown off of Pegasus when he tries to fly to heaven in order to be among the deities. And this is what happens to Victor. Victor is too hubristic. He plays God, and because of that, he is punished. Trying to circumvent death, which is also what Victor tries to do, is also a mythic theme. As a matter of fact, the oldest myth that we have in the world, literarily speaking, is the Epic of Gilgamesh. And this is what Gilgamesh tries to do. He doesn't want to die, and he goes on a quest to find immortality. And of course, it doesn't work out for him. And neither does it work out for Victor. But that is what Victor wants to do. He wants to end death and make it where humans live forever. Another theme is the Philosopher's Stone, the elixir of life, which goes along with the immortality. So within that, there are many other mythic elements that are not germane, again, to what it is that we are going to examine, but I still think still need to be brought to the forefront and discussed, and so that you are aware of all the different myths that are reflected in the novel Frankenstein.